Welcome, I am 𝐸𝐬𝐸 and your host for Keep Traveling Your African Vacation, the only podcast which brings you insightful information in the African tourism industry by real tourism professionals. Today we have another great episode to bring you, and I have the pleasure of introducing Andrew Molinaro, who's the co-owner at Kichaka Expeditions. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rael. It's great to be here.
Andrew, I know that you prefer Molly, so we're going to go with Molly from now on, right?
That's fine by me. Only my mother called me Andrew.
Molly, tell me, for our international listeners, whereabouts are your properties located in Africa?
We're based in only one national park, and that is the Ruaha National Park. It's in the south central part of Tanzania.
Okay, and now we're talking about two different camps, and how far are they geographically apart from each other?
Well, we're a walking specialist camp, so we like to judge distances by walking. It's a full morning's walk to get between the two, so you're looking at about 20 kilometers apart.
Okay, so you're obviously in good shape. You're doing that walk quite a lot.
Yes, every morning for 300 days of the year, I'm probably out on foot.
Tell me, was tourism always the plan? Were you always going to get involved in tourism from a young age?
Not really. I guess it was just going to be the bush. I was obsessed with nature and the bush at an early age, which kind of opens only two doors to me. That would be through the scientific research door or the tourism door. I did the whole science part. I got my BSc in zoology, and then I fell into tourism, enjoyed it much better. So I found my foot in tourism, and then I just concentrated on that all the way till today.
Okay, so what's a normal day for you like at the property?
So we get up early. It's really hot in Ruaha, so we like to hit the trail as soon as the sun's touching horizon. So we're up in the dark. It's a quick little breakfast we like to eat before we go, and then we'll be off walking until about 11 o'clock.
Okay, and then after 11 o'clock, what are you settling down for midday and you're getting up again in the late afternoon?
Basically, we'll be brought back to camp for a big lunch. People are starting to get hungry by that time. We come back to lunch, and then it depends. If people want to walk in the afternoon, I'll take them on a walk. But again, it's hot. They've done a big one in the morning. Most people are quite happy just to go on gentle afternoon game drives.
Now tell me, what makes your properties different from the others around you?
So number one, we're absolutely tiny. We only have 3 rooms in each camp. So the main camp has 3 rooms. We can take up to 6 people. And also the fly camp, which we call Kichaka Kidogo, can take only up to 6 people. 6 was the perfect number for us. It's the most I can walk safely. It's the most that can fit in a car. We're very family style orientated. We are bringing up our children here. And 6 was the perfect number because it means at your meal times, it's one square table. You got the 6 guests, you got me and my wife hosting. The minute I even add 1 room to that, the table elongates, and then you get multiple conversations, and then you are suddenly more of a hotel and not really a home. So 6 was always the perfect number. We like to keep it small, we like to keep it very intimate, and of course, where we are as well, you're not even going to see people from other camps. We are 5 hours drive from the closest airstrip just to get here. We deliberately chose that so we would have our own private kingdom, and literally for safari, savanna Africa, without going into Arctic tundra or true desert, this is as isolated as it's pretty much possible to get. We are really on the edge of about a 60,000 square kilometer wilderness. In fact, if you go west of us, you won't hit a human till pretty much the Congo border, Lake Tanganyika. You go south of us, you hit Zambia. You go north of us, you hit the central Tanzania desert. The frontier of civilization is what we call Iringa town, and that is about 250 kilometers drive to the east.
Okay, so for international guests that want to get to you, what would be the easiest way?
Do not drive. That will take days. The only real possible way is to fly from either Arusha or Dar es Salaam, the main hubs. From either one, it's going to be a 2-hour flight to Ruaha. You'll land at the central airstrip there where we collect you, and then we head off on our little bushwhacking adventure. And about 5 hours from there, you will arrive in our area, Lunda. It's on the Great Ruaha River in the far eastern section of the park.
Is there a story behind the name of the lodge?
Actually, no, we were supposed to be called something totally different. We were supposed to be called 𝐸𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐸, which meant in the local language to wander or to roam, which was very fitting for our beginnings. We were just camp managers before, and some tourists came by, and we'd asked them to say this word, 𝐸𝐸𝐵𝐸𝐸, and they just couldn't say it. And it wasn't memorable, so it was a last-minute thing. See if Kichaka's taken. It wasn't, so we got that. And okay, actually, in proper Swahili, it simply means a bush.
Now tell me something, what do guests always rave about after having left you at Kichaka?
I guess our biggest USP is simply our wilderness factor. When you went for a game drive in the Serengeti or pretty much anywhere else on Earth these days, what you're looking at is the habituation of 50, 60 years of animals to the vehicles. They look right through you. You can drive a meter from the lion. It's an honor if he opens his eyes. And that's all great, but people have done a lot of that. They've got close to this stuff. You go to Serengeti for places like that. Even when you land here at Ruaha, the central part has been trafficked, not heavily trafficked, but since the 60s when this became park. But as you drive out, and I still say this is one of the last remaining places in Africa where you get this feeling, the further you go out, you'll see those Impalas start leaping out of the way of the car. You see some action with them. They don't just stand and gawk at you. And the way I say today, the benchmark for telling you are in a true wilderness, how do the impala behave to your vehicle? Not on foot. Everything's going to run from you on foot. But how do they behave to the vehicle? If they just stand and gawk at you, you're in a heavily trafficked area. However, if they start leaping out the way, if they retain that little bit of skittishness, you are in a wilderness. I am literally in one of the final frontiers. So they really like the contrast of going to places like Serengeti or the central part of this park where you do get good close observation, but as you get further out, animals behaving a little bit more naturally. They still retain that little wilderness factor. At first, people aren't thrilled. It takes a day or two, but it's more about the significance of it and what it means. And on departure, that is perhaps the biggest comment I get. An appreciation of the true wild nature of the animals out here. Now,
Yeah, we can't have our cake and eat it, right?
exactly.
Guests that travel from very far away, how do you make them feel at home?
We do get first-timers. Again, that's a big part of our market. And of course, first-timers to Africa are going to be a little bit nervous about what they're getting themselves into. But the minute they get here, they do feel right at home. The rooms are very comfortable. Everyone's speaking good English. The food is diverse, so it makes them feel like they're going to a restaurant back at home. And again, we are extremely family style. You will have me there. You will have my wife there. We're very entwined with the product. We ensure that we're on a first name basis with everyone, and even though they might be a bit apprehensive when they arrive, especially considering the length of the drive, the minute they meet everyone and just the friendliness of the Tanzanian people, they literally turn friendliness into a vice. Everyone feels at home pretty quickly. Certainly after they've recovered from the big day, after their first night's sleep, they wake up the next morning, they're ready to go, they're into it.
While we're talking about guests like that, what's been one of the most rewarding experiences that you've had with a guest?
I must say it was probably, and I've been doing this 25 years, but I made really good ground with a guest literally who only left about 3 days ago. They were 2 Australian ladies, really into nature. They do conservation work back in Australia. However, they were very ecologically sensitive people. In fact, one of the ladies, she said that this was such an important and big safari for them because it is truly their last time they will be leaving Australia because they are extremely aware of their carbon footprint and they don't want to contribute to commercial airlines anymore, and so this is it. This is the last essential international holiday they are ever going to do. Now, it took me 5 days. But we managed to convince them how, yes, there is a big carbon footprint in getting here, but it is so offset by their park fees going towards ranger salaries, into radios for the park, into patrol cars. If it wasn't for the tourist dollar, this place dies. That's 14,000 elephants dying along with it. That is 10% of the planet's lion population dying along with it. So yes, there is a carbon footprint getting here, but we find it is offset with extreme profit by their park fee contributions, number one, their financial contributions, which now allows me to employ 20 staff and feed their families. We are in a very rural area. We mainly do walking safari. That's another little chink you can cut off the carbon footprint. And as she left, she said, you know what? I might actually consider coming back to Africa again. And the partner who she was traveling with nearly jumped out of her skin with enjoyment, with glee, because we might have convinced her. And she was unshakable on that issue. I really had to work on it. If it wasn't for the tourist dollar and providing employment, training, etc., their dollar is valuable. And she pretty much saw it, and I think we really convinced her to come and break her promise and do another African safari.
That sounds like you did some good work there. Tell me, what do you love most about the area, beyond just the views?
My area, again, the wilderness factor always comes first. Our density of baobabs is bizarre. It's like driving through a J.R. Tolkien novel with these strange trees everywhere. Ruaha is just the epitome of miles and miles of untouched, unspoiled, untrammeled Africa. And that is what you get most about the feel when you drive through this place. It is severely untouched. I've been in this park 25 years. I've seen more of it than anyone because I walk it on foot. And I'd still be very humble to say if in 25 years I've seen 40% of her, she is that vast. It's the expanse of it. It's the never ending.
That sounds amazing. I must come visit. We'll go walk about, Molly.
Please do. You're very welcome.
What's the main sort of wildlife that guests can expect to see?
Another reason why it's so amazing is it's so huge that it can encompass mass amounts of diversity. If you go to the west, you're talking 1,800 meters. We're talking giraffes in the mist. That's the west. We are in the east. We're at 750 meters. There is over 1 kilometer of vertical distance as you go east-west through this park. Your East African flora and fauna meets and merges with your Southern African flora and fauna, and we are right on the boundary of the two. So we get a little bit of the best of both worlds. So the variety here is staggering. Every 20 minutes you drive, it will change. Here we're famous for palm trees, and they give this part of the park a very unique feel. But because of this habitat diversity, encompassing swamp, Miombo woodland, open grassland, riverine forest, we have 574 species of bird in this one park. That's almost half the country's available species. We have the biggest diversity of antelope in Africa. So we got, if you go west to the swamps, we got topi, we got sable, we got roan, we got Liechtenstein's hartebeest in the Miombo, we got greater kudu, lesser kudu, we got impala, we got bushbuck, we got reedbuck. Diversity is unparalleled, but also because of its size, we are now East Africa's biggest stronghold of elephant at 14,000. And of course, the Ruaha Rungwa ecosystem, not the park itself, but the ecosystem it is a part of, now possesses 10% of the entire planet's lions.
That's quite amazing. Can you tell me somebody from your staff or community that really makes a big difference?
We're very proud of what we've achieved here. We built it ourselves from literally being humble managers with a gun, 3 pup tents and a car. We built this into quite an awesome product. We're very proud of it because especially over COVID, we ended up building it ourselves. But what we're even more proud of, more than all the physical aspects, is a little chap called Moyo. He arrived with me 8 years ago from a tiny little guiding school outside of the park. We brought him on board as the barman. He didn't speak a word of English. It was my wife who actually saw that he would sneak off to look at birds. She saw the potential in him, and today, 8 years later, he is now probably the finest local walking guide in Tanzania. He has also, with me in our wet season, we're so quiet, we do a lot of training. We train village game scouts, we train all the park rangers for walking safaris, and he has personally probably churned through about 300 people. He's trained them up to a very high level in all kinds of bushwork on foot, needing to use weapons as safety. And so any kind of weapon work, bushwork, footwork, crop protection work, he's now taking huge amounts off my plate. And I must say, we are most proudest of our dear John Moyo, who hardly spoke a word of English 8 years ago, and now he is actually famous among all the local guides in Tanzania for being the very best walker out there. He is turning heads. He is showing how Tanzanians can do this kind of stuff. He is from this area, and he is now by far probably the best guide I have ever come across in such a short space of time. He is probably our proudest achievement overall.
I can see that, and I can hear that in your voice. Good luck to Moyo in his future endeavors as well. So that's quite a touching story. Thank you for sharing that, Molly. If a guest could take away one particular feeling after having stayed with you, what would you want that feeling to be?
We have guests currently here who come every year, twice a year. They're only here for 2 weeks this time, but the next trip is 20 days. And we can pride ourselves on the fact that in 20 days, they will not see another human being on their safari. This you will find perhaps nowhere else in Africa. The closest camp is 70 kilometers as the crow flies. No one's coming down here. We have an entire kingdom to ourselves. Long may that remain, but I guess that is another of our biggest USPs. You are the only 6 people in an entire ecosystem.
It sounds very fascinating, and I'm quite envious of that as well. People coming from the first world that are a little bit nervous about traveling to Africa for the first time, what would you say to them?
I'd say that Africa in general has a remarkably well-honed product that caters to that sort of thing. We've been doing it all since the 60s in most places. If you use reputable tour operators to get you here, your taxi will be there on time. If your luggage goes missing, it will find you at some point on the safari. Very little can go wrong, but again, it is Africa, things can go wrong. That's why it's so important to use a reputable, well-known specialist tour operator who can join all that up, and then your experience will be seamless. They know what they're doing, and as a result, people feel very put at ease immediately. From the minute they get to the airport, never mind the camp, we have the technology these days. You call this number, someone will be there right away. Again, most of the good tour operators will have reputable ground handlers, and that way mistakes just aren't going to happen. So again, my biggest advice would be, when you choose to do this kind of stuff, pick a reputable tour operator to do it through, and then it will go off without a hitch. If you start now trying to go direct and book things yourself, do you know the amount of domestic flights you have to organize doing a 3-week safari in Tanzania? It's crazy. Leave it to them. They know what they're doing, and then it will go off without a hitch. That is the tour operators who, again, have honed their product over decades. They know what they're doing. It doesn't bode well for repeat business if people's taxis don't pitch up, etc., etc.
Very good advice. As part of my business as a tour operator, I hope people use Keep Traveling to come to Kichaka. Andrew, on that note, where can people find you online and follow your story?
We're on all sorts of social media, Instagram, Facebook. Just look for Kichaka Expeditions. Our website is kichakaexpeditions.com. But again, if you just Google Walking Safari Tanzania, you will get like a smorgasbord of specialist tour operators, which will have lots of information about our product.
Molly, thank you so much. It was really lovely to hear about Kichaka. I can see and hear how super zealous you are in promoting your products, and I wish you all the success in the future. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your time and energy.
My pleasure, anytime.
That was Andrew Molinaro from Kichaka Expeditions in Tanzania. All the details can be found in the show notes of this episode, or head over to www.wildsunsets.travel/podcast. Tune in again next week when I'll be chatting to another great African tourism professional. My name is 𝐸𝐸, and consider this. A few years from now, you will not remember how much it cost you, but you will still remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.